Welcome to our sixth webinar and new forum at STEM Education Global Perspectives. I hope you find this session informative and interesting. My name is Dr. Mina Zaleha. I am an assistant professor at Alfred University, and I'm going to be the co-host of this webinar. Now I hand over to my co-host and very dear friend to introduce our guest speaker to you.
Thank you so much, Mina. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our sixth webinar series at STEM Education Global Perspectives with a focus on inclusion, equity, and social justice. My name is Sherry Rodney, and I have the responsibility of introducing our guest speaker for today. Our guest speaker is currently a professor at the School of Education, Faculty of Social Science and Humanities at Universiti Teknologi, Malaysia. Being a PhD graduate from Universiti Teknologi, Malaysia, she has served in the institution for 37 years. After being awarded Master in Teacher Education from the Eastern Michigan University. She completed her bachelor's degree in mathematics at Macalester College, also in the United States. Her research interests includes teaching and learning, mathematics, mathematics thinking, statistical thinking, mathematics teacher education, computer-supported collaborative learning, integrated STEM, SDGs, and engineering education. She has worked as a researcher, as a primary, secondary, and a secondary teacher educator, as a supervisor for graduate research, and as a consultant to the Malaysian Ministry of Education pertaining to STEM education and higher order thinking projects. She has been project leaders for various grants at universities at both national and international levels. Over the years, she has been appointed reviewer for journals and on conferences, as well as member of editorial boards on international and national journals. Her research collaborators are people coming from across the globe. Presently, she is a coordinator of the postgraduate mathematics education at the Universiti Teknologi of Malaysia. And at this time, colleagues, I would like you to help me welcome our esteemed guest speaker, Professor Zaleha Ismail. Welcome, Professor.
Can you hear me? Okay, thank you so much, Sherry, for the kind introduction. Okay, my warmest gratitude to Dr. Mina and both of you, Dr. Mina and Sherry, okay, for inviting me to this prestigious webinar. Okay, I am really impressed, okay, with what both of you are working on, trying to connect equity, social justice with STEM education from the global perspective. So today, okay, I am delighted to share with you, okay, my talk on nobody is left behind, the spirits of the Malaysian education system. Why do I have problem to move my slide? Oh, here, okay. All right. Okay, let's begin with looking at where is Malaysia. Okay, Malaysia is, okay, probably if you are in the United States, okay, we are really far from each other. Our time zone is 12 hours difference. So it's morning here now, 25th March, okay, but you are at night time, okay, over there. Okay, so our neighbors, okay, Malaysia is in yellow. Malaysia, our close neighbor is Indonesia, and then we have Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines. So this region is called as Southeast Asia. Malaysia divided into two parts, East Malaysia and West Malaysia. And I am here, Johor Bahru, whereby Johor Bahru is close to Singapore, another country. The climate, okay, is warm all year round, lots of rain. We have nowadays we have very heavy rain in the morning, okay, sometimes in the afternoon, and we have a very dense jungle or forest. You can imagine our jungle is like the Amazon. About the population, okay, Malaysia are made up of Malays, okay, also known as Bumi Putra, and then we that is the majority, okay, of the people, and I am in this category, Bumi Putra Malay, and then we have the Chinese, and we have some Indians, 6.8%, and we have others, okay, especially those who migrate from other countries. And the distribution of our population is like this. Okay, we still have many kids, okay, between 0 to 14 years old, and majority is in this age range, 15 to 64 years old, okay, while we also have quite a number of senior citizens, which is 7.4% of the population. Okay, but here it means that, okay, there are many students in the school, because the population, okay, are of the schooling age. About the economy, okay, Malaysia and Indonesia, our neighbor, okay, has been the world producer of palm oil, and okay, palm oil, almost anything, okay, we need to manufacture, use palm oil. So palm oil is very useful to many countries. And Malaysia is second to Indonesia, okay, in producing palm oil, and so that is why, okay, our forest, the jungle is diminishing, okay, because of we need the land for palm oil planting. All right, the education system in Malaysia is centralized. So we have two Ministry of Education, which in charge of schooling, while Ministry of Higher Education will in charge higher institutions and colleges. For the Ministry of Education, okay, they take care of the primary school and secondary schools. And secondary schools begin age 7 to 13, but to 12. But now they also have this program, preschool program in some primary schools. And in fact, in order to foster cultural diversity, the primary schools, there are three types, what we know as three types of vernacular school. We have the Chinese medium, the Malay medium, and the Tamil medium. Okay, so it will meet the need, okay, the need of people from different ethnic. And of course, we have the national exam, okay, and then we have private school also we have, and also we have the most of the school are government school or public school. Okay, but we also allow private school at the tertiary level and also at school level. So the government, okay, has been working on education seriously. Okay, a big portion of the budget is allocated for education, and they are trying to reach these objectives, okay, access, which means that 100% enrollment across all levels from preschool to upper secondary by 2020, which has not been achieved yet. Now we are in 2022 and we have not achieved yet, okay, because there are schools in remote areas, and in fact there are communities in remote areas which is difficult to reach, and that is the problem, okay, with the effort, okay, to achieve, okay, 100% access. Quality, okay, we compare ourselves with other countries like United States, so we are unfortunately at the bottom 30% in PISA and TIMSS. So we have lots to learn from the United States and other countries, okay, how to improve the performance in PISA and TIMSS. And then we try to reduce equity, reduction in achievement gaps, okay? 50% reduction, and I think this has not been achieved yet by 2020. Now we are 2022, and education has been a platform to unite the people. So we would like to give children experience, okay, experience from education, okay, and we try to entertain the need for diverse background and efficiency, okay. We wish that the system, okay, maximize student outcome within current budget. So these are the things that we aim for. Some getting closer, but some I think is very challenging to, for us to achieve. All right, okay, where is SDG related to this talk? Okay, because my focus today is, okay, is trying to reach the minorities. Okay, beside the main ethnic, okay, the three ethnics, okay, we have minorities, okay, in the country, and these minorities, okay, they are people who live in remote areas, and it is really challenging to reach them. And how, okay, we want to make it education is available for them. And also we have to consider their lifestyle, their belief. Do they actually really like what we are offering them? And if they don't, okay, how we try to minimize the gap. So I'm going to address from the aspect of STEM education. So many things that, okay, when we talk about equality or equity in education, that means we must give these people the same thing, okay? But we see from this picture that, okay, there are many out there, okay, individuals with different background, okay, with different ability, with different interests and belief, okay. So we have to handle them carefully, okay. So what actually do they really need, okay, so that in the end we can reach equity and equality. The challenge, okay, the challenge that we face, okay, when we want to reach Aboriginal students, okay, there are many tribes, okay, in the remote areas, and these people, okay, for many years since their ancestors, okay, until today, okay, they believe that the jungle is their place, and they wish to protect the jungle. They are happy to live there with their communities, okay. So their belief, okay, their culture is different. They can be comfortable, okay, even though they don't have the basic needs like clean water, electricity, and of course no internet, okay. But they are happy there. But the teachers who normally come from from the cities, from the urban areas, okay, will face challenge to go there and give service to them. Okay. So their surroundings are different, okay, but we are using one curriculum. Okay. Education in Malaysia is central. Okay. So we have the nation, okay, the national curriculum, and we share the national curriculum throughout all the people in the country, and that might be a problem, okay, to meet the needs of these Aboriginal tribes. Okay? And they are facing, okay, as I said just now, okay, when Malaysia is excited with increasing the production of palm oil. Therefore, more trees need to be cut down, okay, so that more palm oil plantations are available. And that is a threat to these Aboriginal people because they protect the jungle. Okay, they want to preserve the jungle. That's their way of living since their ancestors. And the poor infrastructure at their community, okay, in the jungle, very far from the city, very far from the town. So as I said, okay, there is not much basic infrastructure like clean water, electricity, and internet, and that make teachers, okay, do not feel comfortable to go there. And then we have shortage of experienced teachers. Okay, if teachers are being sent to these remote areas, okay, they of course they do not wish to stay there for a long time. Okay, after 2 or 3 years, they would ask for transfer to another place. All right, so the curriculum, co-curriculum, assessment, teaching and learning tools, okay, as well as the learning culture at the present needs to be reviewed, okay, so that we can fulfill the unique needs for the Aboriginal students in education. Because some of them says that, okay, the existing curriculum is not relevant to the lifestyle of the Aboriginal students. So we are, okay, looking at these questions. Okay, what are actually the pedagogical strategy used by majority of mathematics teacher in teaching primary school with 100% Aboriginal students? Okay, because besides school like this, whereby they have 100% Aboriginal students, at the this is at the primary school level. At the secondary school level, okay, we like sort of, okay, require, okay, the Aboriginal students to join the inclusive program. Okay, does that fit, okay, their interest? Okay, that is another question. What are the pedagogical strategy that are not being used by math teachers in teaching primary school with 100% Aboriginal students? Did math teachers adopt multiple pedagogical strategies in teaching primary school? So these are questions that we try to answer in our research, in our 4-year research, okay, with the Aboriginal students. We, okay, from our data, okay, we found that in terms of numerical competencies, okay, these students have problem, okay, with mathematics, and we notice here that they did better in oral tests compared to written tests, okay, because they have a problem with the language. Okay, they have their own language, but in the public school, okay, we have to use the national language, which is Malay, the Malay language. And for oral test, that means the teachers will read the question and in fact sometimes will explain about the question before the student answer, okay, provide their answer. So we notice here in all 5 competency, in all 5 topics, okay, the students are doing better in oral test, except I think in measurement. Okay, in measurement there is a little bit different from the others. Okay, as we noticed that in measurement, okay, they did better in the written test. Okay, probably the items in measurement, we have lots of pictures. Okay, that is probably the reason. And as we see that, okay, the difference is significant. And when we look at how do the teachers teach numeracy to the Aboriginal students, we see that from A, B, C, D, 10 teachers, okay, more than 10 teachers here, okay, we have more than 10 teachers. Based from these teachers, okay, we notice that majority of the teachers, they will use individualized instruction, learning through daily life activities and experience. And then they also let the student watch what they are doing. Okay, they demonstrate something and then the student will observe and follow and repeat. Okay, many teachers think that repeating, okay, what they have explained many times works. Okay, and they also have group activity. However, okay, based from our literature review, okay, there are other pedagogical strategies, okay, which in many other research, okay, they found out that some of these are effective for Aboriginal students, okay. But for our teachers, okay, for our sample, they did not okay, we noticed that they did not carry out all these, okay, all these 6 strategies which are related to students' culture and language, sharing without words, sharing knowledge with art or drawing, working with lessons from land and nature, bringing new knowledge home to help the family or community, songs and music. Okay. In fact, okay, when we go to another tribe, okay, and we interviewed the teachers who teach that tribe, okay, they said that, okay, it really make the students happy, okay, if they teach using songs, okay, and also relate the activities with the culture. So, but okay, in our previous research, okay, the teachers did not use some of these strategies. Okay, I'm going to share, okay, what we have developed in UTM, okay, because we think that these people, okay, who are staying in the jungle, okay, their livelihood, okay, depend on the jungle, and every day, okay, they interact, okay, what's in the jungle. So we try to figure out, okay, what make them more familiar. So we know that one of their main way of getting food and also for their livelihood is fishing from the river. So these are some of the fish that are available in the Malaysian river, and we create some activities using fish. One of the activity is that we, of course, it's difficult for us to go to the river and go fishing with them, okay, when we want to teach them. Okay, therefore, to be more practical, we make up a situation whereby we have some fish, okay, not real fish, of course, okay, and then we have a fishing rod, okay, and behind each of the fish, we have mathematics question. And the students really enjoy this activity because the fish are familiar with them and the fishing activity is so familiar to them. Okay. And then we would require them, okay, to, okay, in the activities to label the names of every fish, estimate the weight of each fish, estimate the size of each fish. So these are mathematics that relate to set and classification, unit and weight, estimation, unit and measurement. While I also connected to science, okay? It connect to biology and then the science process, observing science process, and okay, and this is what they do, okay, when they engage in this kind of activity. Okay, what else? Okay, we also include this activity. Which fish is easier to catch? Why? Okay, this make them think. Okay, as time goes by, there are certain fish that is decreasing in number, and they should reflect and reason out what's the problem, what's going on, and of course they can check it out, okay, based from their family catch, okay, how many types of fish they catch and what are the number of fish that they catch for each type. Okay? And this activity 4, 5 to 6 also involves science and mathematics. And beyond that, it can also go to technology, because we can highlight to them, okay, about reproduction technology. Okay, if the river is contaminated, okay, there is another solution whereby they can rear the fish in their man-made pond, okay, or container, and okay, they have to know some knowledge on reproduction technology. Okay, and also we can bring them to reflect on how to clean the contaminated river water. Okay, and engineering, okay, involve, okay, how to clean the river water. So four components of STEM, okay, can be included in the teaching and learning activities. Okay, and then we make sure that, okay, for the activities that we develop, okay, it will also can be connected to the students' culture. And of course, they do not enjoy, okay, if we keep them inside the classroom, okay, they love outdoor activities. So we make sure that, okay, they engage in outdoor activities, and it's multidisciplinary, okay, if possible, it can be connected to the 4 disciplines in STEM, and we design the activities, okay, according to themes. In that particular example, the theme is let's go fishing, and of course, okay, we also connect with values. Okay, there are a lot of values there, because when they discuss about why the river is getting contaminated, okay, so what is their role, and how to ensure that, okay, we can keep the environment clean, okay, so that everyone can enjoy, okay, favorable environment, okay, so there is a role for everyone there, okay, to appreciate nature, to appreciate the jungle, okay, and people shouldn't be selfish such that, okay, they simply destroy the jungle, okay, without thinking, okay, in the future, okay, what kind of harm it will do to the community. This is another example, because these people, it's very difficult to get access to medical surveys. Okay, there are no hospital nearby, there are no medical service center nearby. So they will have to depend on the plants around them, okay, to cure their illness. And there are many kind of plants out there in the jungle that have been used for many, many years. Okay? So I also was raised in the village, and I know some of these plants. Okay? My grandmother introduced to me. Yes, they said that it's effective for some illnesses. Okay, so when we show to them, okay, this plant, okay, and of course they are familiar with this plant, and we can try to explore the characteristic of these plants, like asking them, okay, at the primary school level student, how many petals, what are the flowers have similar number of petals, okay, and we can connect this with the Fibonacci number. Try to find this plant and try to get the biggest leaf and make measurement, okay, and then we make comparison, we can make competition, okay, who get the biggest leaf, okay, who how to determine, okay, the biggest area and so on, and then we connect with, okay, what are the use of the leaf, the flower, the fruits, and the branches, and also, okay, in fact, okay, for this particular plant, okay, there are many color. They have pink, they have purple, and white color. Okay, so they can go around, okay, their school compound or their community compound to search for these plants. Okay, and that is also part of scientific activities, okay, gathering data. So this is some information about the plants. Okay, so these are the use of the plants. For example, when the fruit, okay, the fruit, of course, it can be eaten. It is sweet when it is ripe. Okay, and we can also use the fruits as bullets. Okay. For slingshots, okay, yes, it's a very typical that they place spring shots, okay, to catch birds, okay? And they use this as bullets for their slingshots. And the fruit also can stop bleeding, okay, when we are injured, it can stop bleeding. And also, okay, the water, okay, when we boil the roots, can relieve heartburn and muscle pain. Okay, and in my village, they used to collect the branches of this tree. The branches are really durable. Okay, they make brooms and the kids make slingshots. Here, there are more plants that are found in the jungle, and each of them also, okay, we can explore its use, okay, and from the mathematics perspective, we can compare the number of petals, okay, so that we can make classifications. The plants, flowers with 4 petals, 5 petals, 6 petals, and then we connect with the Fibonacci sequence. Okay, tabulate information is a very important STEM activity, okay, a skill, okay, that we should encourage our students to acquire. So these are the different type of plants. The names are available in Malay. Okay, I did not. Okay, actually we can look up for the scientific names. Okay, but so I did not do that. Okay, sorry for that. And so, okay, they can see, okay, the characteristic of the plants, okay, ranging from the size of the leaf, size of the plant, number of petals, and maybe I can add here, okay, the characteristic of the fruit, okay, and also the usage, okay, for medicine purposes, and the number of species in Malaysia. So when we tested, okay, when we try out this activity with the people in the remote areas, not only to the Aboriginal students, okay, both Aboriginal students and also students in the remote areas, okay, they could be of the Malay descendants, okay, but they are staying in remote areas, okay, whereby in order to reach those areas, it might be 100 kilometers from the town, from the nearest town, and sometimes there are no proper road, and we need to take a ride on a 4-wheel drive, or in fact, some places we have to reach using kayak, or what we call as boat, okay, without the engine. Oh, I forgot the name. Okay, the boat without the engine. A rowing boat. Okay, so we have to reach the places using river transportation like the rowing boat. When we bring, okay, these ideas to the school, okay, and work with the peoples, we found that, okay, the peoples enjoy and motivated. Okay, but actually, okay, in reality, okay, the teachers said the number of absentees in those schools are really high. Okay? So probably this is one way to attract them to come to school. Okay, and of course, okay, when we do activities instead of using words to make explanation, that will help them to enhance learning. Okay, in fact, they do not realize that they are learning mathematics and science. Okay? And of course, okay, less learning pressure because they are doing things that they are familiar. Fishing is familiar to them. So okay, it's nothing different from what they are doing in their everyday life. Okay? And then we foster their culture, and also we inject certain values, okay, to create awareness about protecting the environment. Okay? So that is sustainability. All right. So we noticed that, okay, there is a need to change. Okay, we cannot depend on the national textbook, okay, whereby the same textbook are distributed to all students. Okay, so as teachers, we need to make some adjustment, okay, with the activities that suit, okay, the need of these people. And teacher training, okay, yes, much effort have to focus on teacher training, make the teachers ready to be able to adapt themselves in situations whereby there is no basic infrastructure, okay, and policy, okay. So we have to see, okay, should 100% of these people should go to school, and up to the secondary school level, because we noticed that even at the primary school level, okay, not 100% has been reached, and for at the secondary school level, that means they have to go somewhere, to go to the big town and stay in residential school. In fact, okay, the primary school student as young as 7 years old in some area, they have to leave home and go to stay somewhere at residential school. So are they happy with that arrangement? So we have to be considerate and thinking about their well-being. So I take this statement from Franklin Roosevelt. Okay? We actually, okay, as educators, okay, and also as parents, we cannot always build the future for our youth, okay, but we can build our youth for the future. So I think, okay, sustainability development goals, okay, are aiming towards, okay, this, okay, to reach or to achieve, okay, this. Okay, we want to build our youth for the future through education. So thank you very much. So I think,
Thank you so much.
yes.
Oh, thank you so very much, Prof. Zaleha. It was so insightful. Especially, I really enjoyed the time, and I'm sure that everybody has enjoyed. We can see the claps there. That we really enjoyed about how you are trying to bring free and just education as a right for every child, regardless of if they are Aboriginal or they're not, into your country. So it is so insightful. Thank you so much. And it's really rely on our new team on STEM education, with the global perspective that focuses on inclusion, equity, and social justice. Thank you so much for doing that. What I'm going to do right now, before I share more of my excitement, I would ask for the questions that any of the student or a participant may do have. And I would let them to unmute themselves if they want and start the video as well and share their own questions. But I truly enjoyed, to be honest, about sharing that you were giving every child a chance to not only answer the question in a way that it was asked, but also with words, with art and drawing, with something that is related to the land and nature. So very thank you so much. Yeah, lots of thank yous in the chat box.
So yeah. I might add to that too, Mina. I think it was very exciting to see how culture plays a big role in the students' educational experience there, and to see how you have get to a place where you incorporate them in their own
absolutely
development. But are we at the question section now? Yes?
We are, yeah.
All right, so I'm going to open up with my first question. At least I have a few, but I'm just going to ask one so that others will get an opportunity to ask as well. So Professor Ismail, you shared some overarching questions that is currently the focus of research about Aboriginal education in Malaysia. And I was wondering, are the Aboriginal peoples playing an integral role in the actual planning of the curriculum? How does that work? Is it that they have an input?
Okay, so thank you, Sherry. Okay, your question is, okay, do the Aboriginal people has representative to play their role in the education
curriculum
system?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, right. Okay. Yeah, there is a problem there. Okay, we notice that most of the teachers, most of the teachers who teach in these Aboriginal schools, they are not of the Aboriginal descendants. Okay, they are not from that tribe. Okay, and then there is a gap, okay, in understanding each other because of communication background, communication breakdown. Okay, they speak their language and they are not so well versed. Some of them not well versed with the national language. Okay, and the teachers who are not from that tribe also, okay, they do not understand. They do not have the skill to communicate with the tribe's language. So there is miscommunication there because we noticed that, okay, in some school in one state of Pahang, we noticed that the teachers college, they make sure that there are some pre-service teachers who are from certain tribe, and these teachers, okay, they are sent to the Aboriginal schools. And that is why, okay, we notice when we compare the mathematics performance in Pahang compared to our state, Johor, the students in Pahang are doing much better than the one in Johor. Okay, probably because of the language, okay, that has been taken care in those schools in Pahang.
Noted. Thanks so much, Professor.
So you know that I have done my master's in Malaysia and I enjoyed every second of it. So one of the things that was lots of debate about was using English as a language for teaching science and mathematics on that time. Is that still the same system that you're following? Or different schools are following different strategies?
English, of course, is being taught in every school because we believe that English is the global language used when we want to play a role internationally. So English is an important subject in the school. Okay, but then, okay, as I said, we want also to entertain the needs of certain ethnic. Okay, we have three main ethnics: the Chinese, the Indians, and the Malay. Therefore, the national school, okay, is conducted in the Malay language or the national language. Okay, while also we have other vernacular schools. We have the Chinese vernacular school. Okay, they will use Mandarin. Okay, for most of the subjects, and they for the Tamil vernacular school, they will use Tamil. Okay, but both English and the Malay language or the national language are being taught in all schools.
Wonderful.
So science and mathematics, okay, depend, okay, on in which school you are. But for the national school, I see that textbook are in the national language.
Okay.
But for higher level at the university, okay, at the university for undergraduate up to the postgraduate level, okay, most of the times you will use English because we have foreign students, and also most of the teaching and learning materials we depends on English materials, English books, and so on.
Yeah, there are lots of international students studying in Malaysia. I see that there is a raised hand by Logan. Would you like to unmute yourself again and ask your question, please?
So I was just wondering, so I know here in New York, we have New York State like standard testing. I was wondering if over in Malaysia, if you guys have like some sort of like overarching assessment that all students have to take.
Yes, okay, we have okay, originally we have three national examination. Okay, the first one is at the primary school level to determine who are qualified to go to which school at the secondary school level. But since the pandemic, okay, it seems that the government is abolishing that exam. Okay, it's very difficult to conduct the exam during the pandemic. Okay, and then we have for 15-year-old. Okay, because for 15-year-old, when they, okay, the following year, academic year, okay, they have to being streamed. Okay, whether they want to go for the science stream, okay, or arts specification, or they go for engineering. Therefore, we have another exam for 15-year-old. I think that exam still, okay, we have it now, okay. And finally, okay, at the secondary school level, we have for 17-year-olds, okay. And that is the national exam, whereby it is for the students to be streamed, okay, when what kind of university institution that they can apply, that they are qualified based on that exam.
Beautiful, thank you so much. I also noticed lots of cultural responsive pedagogy that you are using to enhance like just education in Malaysia and just make it equitable for all the students. Is there any question in regard to the cultural responsive pedagogy? Okay, if that's not the question, I mean, we all have heard a lot about cultural responsive pedagogy, and you nicely exemplified about how it is used in Malaysia. Thank you so much for that. One question that might help our prospective teachers here, if they are thinking to come to Malaysia, would be: I've seen that there are lots of English speaker teachers who are coming for teaching short courses or something in Malaysia. Is that anything that they can apply for, or are you aware of anything, Prof. Zaleha, in that regard, that a student can come for a short visit or student exchange?
Yes, we Universiti Teknologi Malaysia. Okay, we have exchange programs. Okay, I have host some students before, and also we also welcome if you would like to study for postgraduate at postgraduate level. We have quite a number of students from different nationalities at the postgraduate level. And in fact, we also recently opened for postdoc positions. So we are always open for anybody to come to join us in any form.
Thank you so much.
Professor Ismail, at some point in the presentation, you spoke about the overpopulation of schools. I was wondering if there is a student-teacher ratio, and if the overpopulation has impacted how you teach in Malaysia.
Sherry, I couldn't get your question.
The question is, you spoke about overpopulation in schools, and I would like to know if there is a student-teacher ratio that you have in your system, and how does that ratio affect how you teach?
Student-teacher ratio.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, actually my house is in front of two schools. Okay, we have primary school and secondary school here. And my grandson, my three grandsons go to the school in front of my house. So in this school they have special education class, and special education class make up of students from different different capabilities. So that is the classroom is small, I think. Okay. And then for the regular normal class, we stick to not more than 20 students in a class. Okay. But during the pandemic, we have to make arrangement like this. Okay, only 50% of the students come to school at one time. Okay, that means about 10 students come at one time. Okay, and then they will take turns to come to school. That's what we do.
Interesting. Thanks so much.